Hello, today I would like to talk about the framework of language and literacy development for infants and toddlers. So, one of the most important parts of early learning. After reading chapter 4 about language development for infants and toddlers, curriculum framework, I realized that language is so much more than just talking. So this is how infant toddler think, connect, and express who they are. So it's help them build relationship, understand the world around them, and succeed in school and life. So it's all start when they birth. So language is one of the most powerful tools young infants develop. Uh, Essential for thinking, learning, relationship, and succeed in life and school. So when they birth, children communicate. Young infant, toddler communicate growth, sound, gestures, and expressions. Later, adding words and symbols. By preschool, they are ready to use language and literacy in intentional ways like talking, listening, reading, and writing. Language and literacy develop best in rich, responsive environments where adults talk, read, and write with young children daily. So I believe each child part is unique, shaped by their home experiences, languages, and opportunity to explore brain and communication. Um, I also believe a strong oral language skills build foundation for later reading, writing, and comprehensions. So that's the reason why environment that very important is that celebrate curiosity, culture, and conversation help all young children grow as confident communicators and learners. So for me, there are five takeaway from this chapter. So the first, language and literacy grow together. They are deeply connected. So children who develop strong speaking and listening skills in early childhood become a better readers and writer later on. Example, a child who can retell a simple story out loud is building the same sequencing and vocabulary skill they will use for reading and comprehension later. The second takeaway for me that rich language environments build strong foundations. So children learn by hearing, seeing, using language every day, every time. They benefit when adults talk, read, and write with them throughout the day, not just during lesson time. Okay. The next takeaway for me that I would say every interaction is a language and literacy opportunity for young children to learn. So I would say language learning happens everywhere during play, meal, routine, and indoor times. So teacher can turn daily moments into teachable experiences. For examples, when a child builds a block tower, the teacher may say, that is a tall tower. So what do you think will happen when we ask one more block? So this is a simple question encourage conversation, vocabulary, and also supports critical thinking. And the next takeaway for me is environment should be literacy rich and culturally responsive. So classrooms should surround children with language and bring like a labels, book, size, art, and writing materials. So culturally meaningful materials, song, and story help children feel value and belonging. For example, including bilingual books, family photos, song, and in multiple languages, connect school learning to children home, uh, to make them feel value and a sense of belonging. So the fifth, sorry, today I'm not feeling well a little bit. So the fifth, teacher and family work together to support language growth. So children learn best when a teacher and family work in the same page, like to support them. Like teacher can share strategy with family, like providing for, let's say providing us storybook. So children can take the book, bring the book home and read with the family, like parents. So sending home a simple storybooks or family journal invites parents to read, write, and share experience in their home language. So this is not only help children learn, practice reading book, but also support family relationship between children and parents. So finally, I would say language and literacy learning begin long before school and flourish through relationship, experience, and environments. So that's a rich in talk, print, and meaning. So when adults engage children in conversation, storytelling, reading, and writing, and honors their individual languages and culture, they lay the foundation for lifelong communication and learning. So now let's talk about how we schooler develop language and literacy. So when children start learning to write, it usually begin with a scribble. So those little marks may not look like much, but they are very important, like a first step. So over time, though, a scribble start to look more like letters, and eventually children begin to form real words. So as a teacher, we can support this growth in a lot of ways. Like we can model writing, take dictation when children tell us their stories, or help them listen to the sound in words. For example, if a child wants to write a thank you note, we may say, let's listen to the sound in pretty, B-R-I-T-Y. So that simple activity helps children realize that letter presents sounds. So it also gives them confidence that they can express their idea in writing. So now let's look at how we can integrate writing into our daily routine. So writing shouldn't just happen during stuff of like writing time. It should be a part of day everywhere. Like children can sign their artwork, make a list, label projects, or even write notes for their friends. So we can encourage writing during transitions or laying time too. So like when children label their block structures or create a menu in a dramatic play area. And we want to make sure they have a lot of choices in writing tool, like providing pencils, marker, crayons, brusher, even glaze for shaping letters. So most importantly, display their writing. So when we hand up their artwork, it tells children your idea matter. So your words are important to us. So now let's talk about motivation and engagement. Children are much more likely to participate in reading and writing when they feel proud of what they do. So when we show them about their story, ask for their input, and display their work, they feel value. And for example, if a child make a list of books to share in the classroom learning library, that's a big idea. So they see that their contribution help others and that feel confident. A little moment like that help children see themselves as capable writers and thinkers. So one more thing that I realized, the literacy are more than just reading and writing. So it's about thinking, exploring, thinking, and expressing ideas. So our roles as teachers is to be facilitators and co-learners. We join in their curiosity, support them, encourage them to try new things. So when we do that, we help children see literacy everywhere, and thus they already belong in the world of language and idea. So I would talk about five takeaways that stood out to me for a preschool language and literacy curriculum framework. The first, that's create a literacy rich environment. So children learn best when book and bring material that are accessible and connected to their interests. So a literacy rich environment includes storybooks, information books, and everyday print material like menu, ticket, and brochure. Okay. For example, placing a book about shells nearby a seashell collection in a reading area that encourage children to explore the topic they are curious about. The second takeaway for me that encourage story comprehension and retelling. So children not only enjoy listening to stories but also develop language, narrative skill, and critical thinking when they retell stories. So like to express idea by themselves. The experience help children make connection between story and their real own life. Okay. So for example, after repeatedly reading a story, children may act it out in the dramatic area, or you are to illustrate the main events. So the activity allows children to make personal connection with story while practicing expressive language. The next takeaway for me is support emerging writing. So writing development starts with a scribble and rapidly processive to later life form and actual work. So as a teacher, we can scaffold children writing by modeling, taking detection, and helping them segment sound in word. So the next takeaway is like integrate writing into everyday routine that I already mentioned before. Like writing should be during practice in daily classroom activity. So we can to support this, teacher should provide a variety of writing tools such as pencil, marker, finger pen, clay, and then also display children's writing to celebrate their effort and creativity. So the fifth, like foster motivation, engagement in literacy. The children are most likely to engage in literacy activity when they feel their idea and efforts are valued. So display children writing and art seeking their input for story and song and show like how their work encourage participation. So for instance, a child may create a list of books to share with friends in the classroom learning library. So feeling proud of their contribution help the other. So recognizing and celebrating these efforts help children develop confidence as a love of literacy. So this chapter highlights that language and literacy development in preschool is most effective when children are supported in rich environment. and engage in meaningful storytelling and writing experiences. So finally, I realize literacy is more than reading and writing. It's about thinking, exploring, and expressing ideas. So it's emphasized the importance of creating literacy-rich environment where preschoolers can develop strong foundation for future reading, writing, and communication. So teacher acts as facilitator and co-learners, encouraging curiosity and communication in many ways that respect each child's developmental level, interest, and cultural background. Thank you very much for listening.